GSL Season 1.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the 2026 GSL Season 1 Round of 12 Group B. We just wrapped up with our first matchup already. A very fast initial best of 3 between Trigger and Cure. Trigger to take down Cure 2-0, and Trigger is now waiting in the winner's match, waiting for the winner of the next matchup, of course, waiting for another Terran player, one of many, as he's surrounded by Terran. It is Bunny versus ByuN. The ByuNy, papi, let's go. Bunny and ByuN, they often do go back and forth. Bunny's always a player that I've had a bit of a harder time kind of grasping his current rate of play at, or his current skill level at, just because Bunny is a little bit less active compared to the others, right? Cure, ByuN, for example, they both play in all the online tournaments. They play in the Pegasus Cups, Wardy TV Monday, Sparkling Tuna Cups as well, all the open tournaments. Cure and ByuN, they're all over the place. Bunny, he's a little bit more reserved when it comes to when he does show up for the open cups, so at times it can be harder to kind of gauge that current skill level that Bunny has to offer, and he always pops off. Like, it's one of those things where Bunny, like, every now and then he just pops off, he looks amazing, he has a deeper and deeper run, and then he like hibernates for a little bit. So we'll see. We shall see how he does perform here. We have our quote from Bunny, GSL forever. And of course, we have the most recent results. Likewise, here we have ByuN as well. We have his quote, I'm not confident at all of winning. No, Fabian. We've had a lot of players that are a little bit more reserved in their comments, and of course a little bit more tentative in how they approach things. I mean, hey, when you're in the GSL with players like Maru, players like Hero, players like Classic, it can be a daunting task. But I want to believe that ByuN has a good chance to make it through this group. But now we do see some recent results, as hopefully everything's okay as ByuN does waddle away. We have the 6th place in 2025 GSL Season 1. We have 24th at DreamHack Dallas. We have top 10 in GSL Season 2 of last year. We have top 16 at EWC, but again, we'll see how he does perform as we have our vetoes completing. We have Winter Madness for game 1, Title Citadel, and Tourmaline for game number 3. Interesting. When it comes to the vetoes themselves, we do see that Bunny got rid of some of the larger maps. Celestial Enclave, larger macro map, more defensive map. Mothership, also larger map as well with some RNG. And Old Republic, another bit of a larger map as well. So Bunny has gotten rid of some of these other more macro intensive maps. I'm curious if he does take a more aggressive approach. Meanwhile, ByuN got rid of some of the smaller maps. Ruby Rock and 10,000 feet were gotten rid of, same with White Rabbit as well. So interesting approach here from our two players. Winter Madness is one of the more standard maps, to be fair. There's a little bit less kind of diversity here, or less kind of leaning towards one way or the other when it comes to aggression or hyper defense compared to Celestial, compared to Ruby Rock. Tourmaline made it through, so things get very aggressive towards the end of the series, but we'll see what our players have planned for us. I expect this to be a shorter one here. Again, TvT has a reputation of being hyper aggressive and hyper intense and hyper octane in the current meta, in current years. We'll see if that trend continues in this TvT. Let's go. As in the top left-hand corner, we do have our South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran, it is Bunny. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Terran for Shelf Rebellion, it is ByuN. And here we go, the first TCV is sent across the map, no surprises here, and eyes are on ByuN to see how committed we are going to be, as it is only going to be the one, no, the second SCV as well. So 2x Reaper at a ByuN. We knew that this would happen at some point in the series, we just didn't know from who and when exactly in the series as well. ByuN is going to be the first to throw down the gauntlet. He's going for a hyper aggressive build, going 2x Reaper. Meanwhile, Bunny, does he go for an economic opener or does he play it safe? We're looking to see if Bunny goes for a Rax expand off of a single gas geyser or a 2-gas opener into a faster factory. One is greedier, the other is safer, and we'll see how Bunny does handle himself here. Oh boy, as looks like Bunny is going for a single gas opener. So a more economic start at a Bunny. This will make it easier for ByuN to get damage done, to get across the map, and to wreak havoc. And we'll see if ByuN can escalate that into a solid lead, if not even a win. So ByuN does have the advantage early on. This isn't like a build or a win by any means. It's just an advantage here for ByuN, for sure. It's a big advantage. Here we go, Reapers are amassing. They're on the way. They're going to be on the way here. Likewise, there it is. We have our 2x Reaper. is amassing. Bunny getting CC on the high ground. At least it's safe on the high ground. That is true. So it could be worse. It could be on the low ground. Could be more exposed. Could even force a cancel. But essentially, Bunny, once he realizes what's going on, he has to react by pulling the boys. He has to pull the boys, and more importantly, Bunny, he has to protect his first Reaper. If his first Reaper is killed, if it dies early on, that's game. That's game done in there. Just because your production is so limited this early on. Ooh, as he's going straight for the reactor. Reaper into reactor, which means his second Reaper is going to be delayed. He does scout nearby, and it looks like he will see. Ooh, he gets caught. No. Okay, he takes 2 volleys. Bunny going into the main base. There's a cancellation on the CC. Ay. And the Reapers, they go for the dive. They will delay the factory. Factory will not finish. And if the factory doesn't finish, that means there's no Hellion. That means there's no way to win the game. Things are looking dire here for Bunny. It goes from bad to worse here. Boys are being pulled. SCVs are going down. The Marine is going to be targeted. Nice control here by ByuN. He does get the Reapers. He does get the Marine. He does take down the Marine in the end. Nice KDA charge. Bunny, he's across the map, but he's not doing any real damage. And this is game ending. This is game ending here. At least the factory does complete. The Hellion is on the way, but that's still 9 SCVs going down. And even more here. Yeah, the Marine does fall. Reaper count is still healthy. Ooh, 1 Reaper goes down to the SCVs, but that's still 11 SCV kills. That is still too much. That is still far too much. I'm still building up more Reapers. We can still dive on the Hellion. The Hellion does pull back to the mineral line. Can be repaired. Oof. Speaking of KDA charge, there it is. GG gets called. GG gets called. Game ending damage, and ByuN takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. ByuN does take a lead in the series. Again, hyper aggression cheese here in game number 1, which is to be expected in TvT. But we did mention it that Bunny did go for a greedy build. He went for a greedy build, so he was caught with his pants down. Not just greedy build, but also he went for a Reaper into reactor. So with that, he could not make a second Reaper. On top of that, we saw that he was caught out, and his first Reaper did take extra volleys. So he could not engage, could not defend. Everything just went from bad to worse there for Bunny. And with that, ByuN snowballs into a win. GG. GG, well played. ByuN needs a snowball into a win, and with that, ByuN, he does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if Bunny can recover and bounce back. We'll see if ByuN can close it out here and now. Oh boy. Immediately starts bantering. True. Immediately the banters. Might be the banters. So now we are going to be jumping into that second game. And again, I'm hoping for a back and forth. I'm hoping for a series, but spawning in the top left-hand corner, moving out across the map once again with the SCV. Let's go. We have ByuN. In the bottom right, we have Bunny. So here we go. The TvT does continue, and ByuN, the aggression continues as well as he goes for the same build. Not just 1, 2 SCVs. 2 SCVs, proxy 2x Reaper, same build out of ByuN. Now, this is where mind games come to play. Okay. This is where it's all about the mind games. Bunny, does he believe that ByuN would not dare do the same build 2 games in a row? And then does Bunny open up economically again and then die again? Right? That's the thing here, as ByuN is going for the proxy right in the face of Bunny. And again, I'm hoping that Bunny plays it safe. I'm hoping he goes for a double gas opener. If he doesn't go double gas, then things are already looking dire for Bunny. Oh boy. And again, it's not a build or a loss, but it just means that there's less room for error for Bunny, right? He cannot make these mistakes. Yep, as you can see, the observer is pointing out, only 1 gas. Only a single gas, guys. So Bunny, he's going for a Rax Expand. Once again, same build. I'm hoping that this time Bunny doesn't get... SV. No, it doesn't scout. I'm hoping that this time Bunny doesn't get his first Reaper caught. SV does move out across the map. Does move out to scout, and will eventually confirm that the Raxes are missing. But it all comes down to that first reaction. It comes down to whether or not Bunny loses that first Reaper, and the reaction of pulling the boys. Pulling the boys. This time, he might also not go reactor right after the Reaper, I'm hoping. There's that CC on low ground. SCV comes in for the scout. Yep. There's that command center. And the SCV does confirm. Yeah, there we go. Now he knows. Now he does know. Now he's fully aware. Rax is missing. Bunny cancels. Bunny does cancel immediately. He's as a bunker immediately. Good reaction. Good reaction so far. So he cancels the CC. He gets a refund. With that refund, he throws down 2 bunkers, and he starts up a second Reaper, second Marine, not going for the reactor. So far, good reaction by Bunny. So far, a very quick, a very crisp reaction here by Bunny. And this time, ByuN should not deal devastating damage. It should not be game ending this time. Yep, he breaks in, does spot the bunkers, and ByuN is deflected. Now remember, 2x Reaper is not an all-in. We have to emphasize that. ByuN is not all-in. ByuN can transition out of this. What is the common transition? Second gas into a factory into magfill accelerator cyclones. Now the reason for this is because as the aggressing player with your proxy, your racks is going to be floating. They're going to be in the air, so you do need cyclones for a robust defense. That should be the follow-up here by ByuN. You can see the factories in the production tab. Ooh, meanwhile the bunkers are too far back. Yeah, bunkers, they cannot defend the depot. Yeah, they're just too far back here. Ay, ay, ay. This is massive supply block for Bunny. This does not bode well. SCVs are going to be denied. One SCV falls, and we're going to get a second depot. Bunny can't make anything. He does have a Hellion on the way, thankfully. He does have one Hellion, but a massive supply block. Oh, the Hellion. We're going to go for the dive. Yeah, we break in. Gets a Marine. There's one Marine left, at least in the northern bunker. Sorry, 2 Marines, 3 Marines now. Down to 2. Down to 1. Oof, and this is getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand here. This should not have happened. Again, it was a stronger defense out of Bunny. It was a strong reaction, but alas, the bunkers that were too far apart, the depots were exposed, and in the end, 4 SCV kills, plus Marines, plus 2 depots, and there's that cyclone follow-up into Macfield. As we mentioned, this is a common follow-up here. Going into Macfield accelerators. This does not mean mech. I should emphasize that as well for those who are maybe unfamiliar, but this does not mean mech. We are getting into a bio follow-up after this. You just need your initial 3 cyclones to secure yourself to defend against the Hellions. You can see Bunny's fanning out with those Hellions. Cyclones should pop out in time to defend. And we already have one. And he's already got the one. As Hellions they poke in. The Cyclone I think was moving out across the map. Yeah, the Cyclone's out of position. Okay. Couple of SCV kills. Not bad. We go Cyclone does flank. Catching out one of the Hellions. And from here, the game will continue. ByuN has a lead. ByuN is up in workers. He has a CC on location. Reapers, they bust into the main. No, more SCV kills. Not like this. Not like this. 1, 2, 3 SCVs. I have 5 in total. And this is critical damage. This is critical damage. GG gets called far too much. ByuN he overwhelms, and ByuN he will claim the series 2-0, taking down Bunny and advancing on to the winners match. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Winding it back here, ByuN going for the same build 2 games in a row. Game 1, Bunny got caught with his pants down. Game 2, that was more on Bunny. That was on Bunny here, as if you recall, Bunny, he did have a reaction. He did scout. That was all good. He canceled the CC, threw down the bunkers, but the bunkers, they were not close enough to protect his wall-off, to protect his depots, so he was unable to protect and stop himself from being denied that supply block. Supply block got out of hand. Reavers, they went further back in, and they were able to kill so many workers, more than should have. They were still away into the bases, so a very shaky defense there from Bunny, very messy, and in the end, he fell apart. Bunny fell apart. With that, ByuN he'll advance on into the next round, and with that, we have our how long has it been? It's been like half an hour, like ay. But here we go. We're getting ready here for our winners match. It is going to be a best of 3 between Trigger and ByuN in a TvP. Let's go. Let us go. We are getting ready. We'll see you guys soon after this short break. See you soon.